Heading into the fast lane now on the Sports Max Zone, the Caribbean's first Formula Woman driver, Sara Misir, is back in Jamaica and has been burning up the Dover Raceway in St. Ann. Misir had a perfect outing at the last meet in August, winning 3 from 3. She'll turn her attention now to Heroes Day race meet on Monday and joins us in studio to look ahead. Welcome again.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to be back.
Yeah, your family here now on the Sports Max Zone, and I'll start by asking you, how much are you looking forward to this competition on Heroes Day?
It's actually one of my favorite events, especially since this event's going to be the biggest of the year, and even the support that's coming out, and it's always a vibe coming back home and racing, because you can't get the same ambience abroad than you can get here. You know, you have the supporters with the horns and the noise, and it's just the interaction with the crowd and the racing. It's just, you can't get that anywhere else.
What I think is special is there's this car, and I don't want to get the patois wrong, but it's called Take Pass Boy car.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this special car.
Well, you know, this car actually started out as a pickup, but interesting enough, with COVID, we had so much time, and my father, who engineered the car pretty much, he took COVID and started doing all these adjustments to it, fixing the aerodynamics, fixing the weight distribution, the wheelbase. We did so much to it that it's completely transformed the car. And I remember my first race meet at Jam West, where it was originally still a truck. A friend of ours kept making bets all over the place because nobody knew me yet, and everyone was like, this gal come here and don't know me, and just saying, can't do nothing, she's gonna cause traffic and blah blah, which I won that day. But that's not the point here.
Yeah. That is the point. You won.
So yeah, it was everyone in the crowd was chanting "Take pass boy, take pass boy" is from a girl, you know.
Yeah.
So it kind of just stuck with the car, and it's just carried on. I even got it when I was racing abroad. I had put a small stick on the McLaren just to like have a piece of home. But it's really been a whole iconic moment now with that car.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I want to ask, the first time you drove at Dover was when?
Dover, it was 2018 or 2017, I think, was in action a VW Severo, and it was all at 77 horsepower.
Yes.
So it didn't have much pep.
Yes.
You know, and it was my daily drive, which I used to take to go to school and home and grocery shopping with mom and stuff like that. But it was a good way to start racing because I knew the car already, so it wasn't unknown track, unknown car, and a lot of more variables. So it was a comfort zone, and it was a street car class. So it was IP45, which I suggest to anyone that wants to start racing at Dover, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
And it was sponsored by ATL at the time because they had just brought down the Severo, but that was my first race meet.
The reason I ask you that is because I want to connect a line between the two dots. When you first drove at Dover, and now at your last drive at Dover, I want you to tell me and the viewers, if there was a difference between sitting behind the wheel for your very, very first drive and sitting behind the wheel for your very first drive the last time, the difference in you as a driver, the difference in expectation from your team, and the difference in expectation from the crowd who was there.
Honestly, it's day and night, not in terms of dedication or discipline, but in how much I've learned in the past few years. You know, giving away COVID because there was no driving during COVID, but I feel completely different in the car. We're now especially having this year of going away and actually having proper training put in, and different types of cars and different types of disciplines I've been dipping my feet in. So I feel a lot more connected with the car, and I feel a lot more ready to be stepping up in pace. And my expectations with my team have always been very high, especially of my father. It always feels like he's breathing down my neck. He's like ready for first place. And it was funny, the other day I had a video that I wanted to post on Instagram of inside the car and racing and showing a lap. And I sent to my dad. I was like, oh, what do you think? He was like, Sarah, that's embarrassing. And I was like,
wow.
I was like, all right. So I sent it to a friend of mine, Christian Budasing, who's a very good racer. He's from Trinidad. And so he's someone I turn to for advice, or I show him videos, and he's like, Sarah, that's pretty good. Like, I don't see anything wrong with it. And I'm like, okay, one person says is good, one person says it's embarrassing. Okay, I see the pressure from family and coaches, but No, it's been a whirlwind, and I feel so much stronger in the car. And even my peers racing with me tell me that they see a night and day difference from this year of racing in the McLaren, that I come back completely different.
Because that's the other question now. Do you feel your status? What I mean is this: 2018, little girl with a regular car, beginner's class effectively at Dover, having these dreams of going beyond the shores of Jamaica, going beyond Dover. 2021, 2022, big thing, Formula Woman, big company that you've raced against, some top female drivers, and you believe that you can, go several leagues beyond where you are now. So the question is, do you now, driving at Dover, drive your status? Are you now international Sara? Is that how you see yourself, or is it a different mindset?
Honestly, I've never thought of it that way. It's more of always the same 2018 Sara. I always go around the pits and I'm always troubling the other drivers, and I have the small Tech Pass Boy stickers. I go and slap it on the other cars when they're not looking, and then their messages like, Sara, I saw that. So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I've never really changed. It's always been a fun environment. Coming back home has always been an anchor, and I always see myself as the same girl behind that VW that wants more and is working hard for it.
And do you think that mindset is the reason why you've been successful? Because, it started, it's kind of funny, and it shows how life comes back in a circle, that you started with the car called Take Pass Boy.
Yeah.
And now you're back in that car, but as much as you don't see, you're a whole different person, like your confidence level, and now the boys aren't seeing you as, oh, this girl is keeping up traffic and all this. Now they know it's game on.
Definitely. I mean, I do believe being humble and staying true to your roots is very important, and not losing sight of where you came from. And I guess I do see the change in confidence, more of just in the car feeling stronger. But I don't see any huge difference from back then.
Physically, Sara, what do you have to do to? Well, is it that you have to maintain a certain physical state to be able to be as efficient as you want to be as a driver of a machine? You're partnering with a machine, so people say, well, this has nothing to do with her and her condition. It's all about the car. But is there a physical way that you have to be?
I'm gonna put it very simply, because people always say that, driving the car, you're just sitting there pressing the gas, turning the steering wheel. There's nothing to it. But me personally, I lose about 5 to 6 pounds every race meet. And coming onto the car, I'm drenched in sweat, red in the face, and going at those top speeds, and my heart rate gets to about 150, 160, so it stays there for about 25 minutes. And you're going so fast, and you have to focus, and there's so much going on around you. You have the other cars, you have to pay attention to what's on the track. There could be debris, there could be oil spills, there could be anything going on, there could be something that ran on the track, a bird, anything that can go on. You can look at the sun, the glare. I could go on for hours right now, but it's so much going on that you have to focus so quickly on every little detail, because when you're going that fast and you blink and you look away and you look back for 1 second, you're in a wall. There's no room for mistakes when you're going that fast. And that's why when your heart rate is so far up, I've given people the example of try going on a treadmill, running, or even on a Stairmaster, and getting your heart rate up to 160 and see if you can read a book.
And that comes down to the mental aspect, because people always ask me, how do I come on the show day after day? I had this conversation with him and Lance, they've been doing this for so long. How do you get up every day and you feel okay, and you come on, and once the cameras start rolling, you have to be your 100% self.
Exactly.
And I think that's the same thing for you. So maybe you can talk to me about a race day, or the week leading up to a particular race. How do you get yourself mentally ready?
Well, honestly, I have to always be mentally ready, because even abroad, I carry home the same work ethic that I've learned. It's a matter of every single day you approach it, where you have to give your best, where it's in the gym, where what you're putting into your body, food you're putting into your body, everything that you're reading, every little aspect, because what your habits are is who you are. So if you want to be successful, if I want to be successful in racing, I have to carry over those attributes every single other part of my life, whether that's school, work, or with with friends or anything. So it's a matter of making those sacrifices into a habit, which turns into who you are.
On race day, what's the breakfast of a champion?
On a race day, I'll have, on the night before, I'll try to have light carbs, protein to kind of carry out the energy. On a race day, you want to have energy throughout the day, so you don't want to have highs and lows. So it's like nothing, you can have coffee, none of that. You have to have I have a very detailed how many grams of protein, carbs. In the morning I'll have like eggs, toast, about 4 eggs, 3 slices of toast, brown bread. I'll have orange juice, and then throughout the day I'll have lots of fruits, lots of snacks, so my energy level kind of maintains. And then right before I get in the car, I'll have an energy shake, a special protein shake, and a slight glucose, like small candies, just to and salty snacks to kind of withhold the hydration. So it's a lot that goes into it that people don't see, and it's a lot of details.
So at lunchtime, no chicken and rice and peas?
I mean, I may have a little bit, but I'm not supposed to.
I thought you were going to say no, seriously?
Yeah. I'm not supposed to. I mean, good grilled chicken and white rice, I'm supposed to. But you know, when Aunt Joyce is there and she looks at me and I just smell the fried chicken and rice and peas, I'm just like, just a little, just a little bit.
So, all right. So you say that whenever you drive and you finish, you lose 5 pounds on average, you say?
Average, yes.
All right. So what weight do you want to be to account for the weight loss and to ensure that you're okay with notwithstanding the loss of weight?
Well, I usually maintain between 125 and 130 pounds. That's usually my variations. But on race day, the cars are measured to the point where my loss of 5 pounds doesn't affect anything. So we maintain that with fuel consumption. So our fuel tank will know which level it's at and how much it'll cause the weight to change. Because every car has to be a certain weight depending on what your engine size and tire size is.
I remember when I was I was preparing to go to high school. It was a long time ago. And I was reading a comic about Captain America and how he trained. And he trained, so he would like stand in this globe, spread eagle like this, and it would spin and rotate like a ball. And that was part of his training, preparing to be a superhero. So I've always remembered that when I'm thinking of people in specific disciplines, and motor racing is one, not people, many people go through life never having met someone who motor raced.
Right.
So for you, what is it that you do in terms of keeping fit to drive a car fast? You spoke about treadmill, Stairmaster. Do you swim several laps to the pool? Do you run physical laps? Do you lift weights? What do you do as a specific tailored regime to keep you fit to drive a car fast?
I actually have a program that I worked on with a couple of trainers that I follow myself. It goes on throughout the season. So if I'm getting close to race meets, I usually maintain weightlifting and cardio balance. But if I'm getting closer to a race meet, I heighten the cardio and use weightlifting more as practicing muscle endurance. And then after race meets, I'll start more bulking, heavier weights just to get stronger, so that when I'm racing, I have better muscle endurance, better cardio, and then after race meets, I can start getting stronger and stronger and then work on muscle endurance again. So that's how it fluctuates.
Stupid question, Sarah. If 2 cars equally fast, one driven by a driver who drink rum, smoke, wake up late, eat rice and chicken for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and jump in the car and drive, and the other one driven by someone like you who follows a tailored regime, disciplined regime, makes themselves physically capable to give off their physical best, who would win that race in a straight shootout? Is there, in other words, what I'm driving at is there an advantage to following the regime that you do? Is there a disadvantage to being undisciplined with your lifestyle and just jump in the car and drive it?
Well, I'll put it simply. I mean, I remember in high school in sports day where I never used to follow any dietary anything. I used to have chicken nuggets for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So it's a matter of looking at, you have 6 to 12 laps in the race car and you're going so fast, and it's hard work being in the race car. You know, you don't have any power steering, you're focused, it's hot inside the race car, so there's a lot going on. So it's a matter of whether the person who doesn't keep a regime is faster than someone who does. By the end of the 12 laps, who's going to be more consistent? Who's going to be more precise? Who's going to be more focused and more relaxed in the car to be able to focus? So it's a matter of consistency. It's a matter of precision and detail and being focused and disciplined. So it's not just who can do one lap the fastest. It's who who can keep that consistency and keep going around the track with those times and that precision that finishes the race in first.
Mariah, I realize that the two of the best interviews we've had all year are motor racing folks.
Yeah. I'll never forget him.
What's his name? Well, he's on our Instagram. So he was Alex
Powell.
That little boy, I think he's an alien.
Sarah, I have never been quiet. I didn't know what to ask. Like, I was just listening like this.
No, Alex is brilliant, especially for his age. I have the luck of my father and his father are very good friends. I was actually in Italy not too long ago. I went to one of his races and we're spending some time together. And every time I hang out with him, it's always like, are you sure you're still 15 or
he's a big money child.
Like, you're speaking, like, I feel like I'm speaking to a 30-year-old. Like,
he's amazing.
How his manners, his etiquette, everything is always spot on.
Yeah, well, you're a top
Big up,
draw.
Alex.
You're a top draw as well, Sarah.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so she'll be at Dover on Monday, and it's not going to be hard to see her. She'll be the one everybody else is chasing. All right, so go on down to the Dover Raceway on Monday. Heroes Day race meet starring one Sara Misir. All right, back with more of the Sports Mag Zone after these.